In this video, I start discussion on first week of development. First week of development begins at the time of ovulation and at last day of first week, embryo is implanted in uterus. Implantation. So, during first week of development, we will study different processes which occur from ovulation to the implantation. Before going to discuss first week of development, briefly I discuss some basic concepts which include anatomy of female reproductive system and female reproductive cycles. The organs of female reproductive system which should be considered here are uterus, uterine tubes and ovaries. First of all, uterus. First let me make diagram of uterus. I am drawing uterus. This is uterus. Uterus is divided into two parts, upper 2/3 and lower 1/3. Upper 2/3 is body of uterus and lower 1/3 is cervix of uterus. And the junction between body and cervix is isthmus. The upper rounded part of the body, this upper rounded part of body is called fundus. This part of uterus is called horn of uterus. From the horn, fallopian tube or uterine tubes are connected with uterus. And this is cavity of uterus. Uterine cavity. The lower 1/3 cervix, this is the cavity of cervix is called cervical canal. Cervical canal. Cervical canal at its upper end and lower end is constricted. The upper constricted end of the cervical canal is called internal os. internal os, and the lower constricted end of the cervical canal is called external os. Internal os connect the cervical canal with the uterine cavity, and external os connect the cervical canal with vagina, and this is fornix of vagina. Fornix of vagina. And this is vagina. Wall of body of uterus. This wall of body of uterus is composed of 3 layers: outer to inner perimetrium, then myometrium, and inner layer is endometrium. Perimetrium is outer thin layer. It is visceral peritoneum which covers the uterus. Myometrium is middle thick layer which is composed of smooth muscle. Myometrium is composed of smooth muscle, and perimetrium is visceral peritoneum. Which covers the surface of endometrium, which covers the surface of uterus. And the inner layer is endometrium. Endometrium is also a thin layer composed of mucosa. During luteal or secretory phase of menstrual cycle, endometrium consists of 3 layers. Endometrium consists of 3 layers, but only during luteal or secretory phase of menstrual cycle. The 3 layers of endometrium are compact layer, spongy layer, and basal layer. These 3 layers can be distinguished on microscope. First, let me make diagram. Suppose I am showing you magnified view of this part of uterus. This is lumen of uterus. Here is lumen of uterus, and suppose this is epithelium of endometrium. Normally, surface of endometrium is covered with epithelium. This is epithelium of endometrium. And this is lumen, and in this way we go deep into the uterine tissue in this way. This is a line. This is epithelium, and here is a endometrial gland. Suppose this is endometrial gland, and there is connective tissue. Suppose this is connective tissue. Up to this is endometrium, and this is myometrium. This is myometrium, which is composed of smooth muscle. This is smooth muscle. Now, endometrium consists of three layers: compact layer, spongy layer, and basal layer. Compact layer is thin layer. This is compact layer, and this is spongy layer, and this is basal layer. Compact layer, this is spongy layer, and this is basal layer. Compact layer and basal layer are thin, and spongy layer is thick. Suppose that this section of uterus is during the luteal phase of menstrual cycle. This compact layer, this is called compact because the connective tissue present in this layer is dense. This is dense connective tissue. Dense connective tissue. And this is neck of uterine gland. This is body of uterine gland. Neck, and this is body. Neck of uterine gland is present at the compact layer, in compact layer, and body of uterine gland is present in spongy layer, and basal layer contain blind ends of uterine gland. So compact layer consists of dense connective tissue which surrounds the neck of uterine glands, and this is called compact because this layer contains dense connective tissue. And then this is spongy layer of endometrium, which is thick. It consists of body of uterine gland, and the connective tissue is edematous because of watery secretions from the uterine glands. The connective tissue is edematous. Edematous connective tissue. And this basal layer contains blind ends of uterine glands and some connective tissue. Compact layer plus spongy layer is collectively called functional layer because this is lost during menstruation. Compact layer plus spongy layer, this is collectively called functional layer. Functional layer of endometrium means this is functional layer. Compact layer plus spongy layer, this is functional layer, and this is basal layer. Functional layer means compact layer and spongy layer is lost during menstruation and after parturition. Parturition is delivery of fetus. After parturition and during menstruation, functional layer means compact layer and spongy layer is lost in the form of menses or menstrual blood, and this basal layer is not sloughed off. This is not lost, and after menstruation phase, functional layer regenerate from this basal layer. Also, blood vessels of endometrium, blood vessels of this is uterine artery, uterine artery. It gives branches, and here this is called arcuate artery, it gives further branches, and suppose this is called radial artery. And further this makes spiral artery. This is spiral artery. Eventually capillaries are formed. Suppose these are capillaries, and there are veins, suppose with this green color. These are veins, and at some places veins are dilated in this way, dilated at some places, and these dilated spaces are called lacuna. These are called lacunae, or venous spaces. This anatomy is during the luteal or secretory phase of endometrium. Spiral artery. During luteal phase, endometrium is fully developed and its thickness is about 5 millimeter. Now uterine tube. Uterine tubes. First let me make a diagram. In same way, this is endometrium, suppose this is endometrium and this is vagina, and from here these are uterine tube. This is one uterine tube, and this is ovary, and here is ligament of ovary. This is ligament of ovary. In similar way, this is ovary, another ovary, and this is ligament of ovary. Here are fimbriae, process-like structures called fimbriae. So this is uterus, uterine tube, this is uterine tube, this is ovary, This is ligament of ovary, and this is vagina, cervix. So uterine tubes, the length of uterine tube is 10 centimeter. Full length of each uterine tube is 10 centimeter, and diameter of uterine tube is 1 centimeter. There are 4 parts of uterine tube. The part which belongs to the ovary is infundibulum, and the part which is connected with uterus, this is called uterine part, and uterine part, infundibulum. Next to the infundibulum is ampulla, and the junction between ampulla and uterine part, here this is called isthmus. So there are 4 parts of each uterine tube, from uterus to the ovary, from uterine end to the ovary end, uterine part, isthmus, ampulla, and infundibulum. This is lumen of the uterine tube. So lumen. On one side, this lumen of uterine tube is continuous with lumen of uterus, and this is lumen of uterus, and at the other end, lumen of uterine tube is continuous with peritoneal cavity. Here is peritoneal cavity. In females, unlike male, in females peritoneal cavity is continuous with external surface of body. See here, this is peritoneal cavity, this is continuous with lumen of uterine tube, and then lumen of uterus, cervical canal, vagina, and exterior of the body. So in females, peritoneal cavity is continuous with the external surface of body, exterior of body, but not in males. These are fimbriae. Which help in sucking of oocyte into uterine tube. And this is vaginal fornix. At the time of sexual intercourse, sperms are deposited in vaginal fornix. Sperms from vaginal fornix and oocyte from ovary reach in the ampulla part of uterine tube, where fertilization occurs, and then dividing zygote enters into uterine cavity, and then implantation in the wall of uterine and the wall of uterus occur. Now ovaries. There are 2 ovaries in one female. They are located on each side of uterus. Ovaries produce oocytes and 2 hormones. Estrogen and progesterone. These hormones are secreted by corpus luteum, the part of corpus luteum. Corpus luteum. Corpus luteum is part of Graafian follicle remained in ovary after ovulation. When oocyte is ovulated from ovary, the empty Graafian follicle grows and is named as corpus luteum. This corpus luteum secretes estrogen and progesterone. As compared to estrogen, progesterone is secreted in higher amount. Recall oogenesis. Estrogen is also secreted from granulosa cells of ovarian follicles. These hormones, estrogen and progesterone, are responsible for secondary sexual characteristics in female at puberty. Secondary sexual characteristics in female include development of breast, development of pubic and axillary hair, growth and enlargement of uterus and vagina, more deposition of fat in subcutaneous tissue, especially at hip region, and start of menstrual cycle. What is difference? These are secondary sexual characteristics which develop at puberty due to production of these hormones. What is difference between primary and secondary sexual characteristics? Primary sexual characteristics are present at the time of birth, while secondary sexual characteristics develop at puberty. Primary sexual characteristics are presence of reproductive organs at birth. Primary sexual characteristics of male are presence of penis and testes at birth, while primary sexual characteristics of female are presence of vagina, uterus and ovaries at the time of birth. After discussing brief anatomy of reproductive system, now overview of female reproductive cycles. Female reproductive cycles. Female reproductive cycles begins at puberty, and these cycles are under the control of different hormones which are secreted from hypothalamus, anterior pituitary gland and ovaries. First, let me make diagram. Hypothalamus, secrete gonadotropin releasing hormone. Gonadotropin releasing hormone. This gonadotropin releasing hormone act on anterior pituitary gland, anterior lobe of pituitary gland, and anterior pituitary gland secrete gonadotropins, gonadotropins, gonadotropin releasing hormone act on anterior pituitary, and as a result anterior pituitary gland secrete gonadotropin. There are two gonadotropin hormones: follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. These gonadotropins act on ovaries and ovaries secrete progesterone and estrogen. Progesterone and estrogen, and these progesterone and estrogen act on endometrium. In black color, these are the glands or organs which release the hormone or on which different hormone act, and with this red color these are the hormones. So in this way, from hypothalamus, master gland is hypothalamus. Hypothalamus regulate anterior lobe of pituitary gland, and anterior pituitary gland regulate ovaries, and ovaries secrete progesterone and estrogen, which act on endometrium of uterus. Follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone both act on ovaries, but they perform different functions. Follicle stimulating hormone stimulates the growth of ovarian follicles. Primordial follicle to primary follicles growth of primordial follicles into primary follicles is independent of follicle stimulating hormone, but the growth of primary follicles into Graafian follicle require follicle stimulating hormone. So, in absence of follicle stimulating hormone, primary follicles will be formed, but Graafian follicles will not be formed. And luteinizing hormone trigger the process of ovulation and stimulates the corpus luteum to secrete progesterone. FSH also stimulates granulosa cells of ovarian follicles to secrete estrogen. Female reproductive cycles include ovarian cycle and plus menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle is also known as endometrial cycle. First I discuss ovarian cycle. Ovarian cycle is defined as cyclical changes in ovaries produced by FSH and LH, which leads to formation of Graafian follicle or mature vesicular follicle and ovulation, which results in a release of secondary oocyte and formation of corpus luteum. Due to stimulation by FSH and LH, ovaries undergo cyclical changes. During each cycle, FSH stimulates growth and maturation of many primordial follicles, but usually only one reaches full maturity, others die on the way of maturation. Early development of ovarian follicles is dependent on FSH only, but early development of ovarian follicles require follicle stimulating hormone, but later stages of development require follicle stimulating hormone plus luteinizing hormone. Development of ovarian follicles is already discussed in oogenesis. In ovary, estrogen is secreted from granulosa cells or follicular cells, and some estrogen is also secreted from theca interna. Theca interna also secrete androgens. Androgens are male sex hormones. And androgens secreted from theca interna are converted into estrogen by granulosa cells. Estrogen secreted from ovaries act on endometrium of uterus and on anterior pituitary gland. Estrogen from ovary act on endometrium of uterus and on anterior pituitary gland. When estrogen acts on anterior lobe of pituitary gland, it causes the release of luteinizing hormone from anterior pituitary. At mid-ovarian cycle, luteinizing hormone luteinizing hormone surge occur. This luteinizing hormone surge performs three functions. Number 1, induces primary oocyte to complete first meiotic division. And enter in second meiotic division, means it induces ovarian follicles to complete their maturation. Number 2, stimulates production of progesterone. By stromal follicular cells. Number 2, it stimulates production of progesterone by stromal follicular cells. Some stromal cells of ovary near the follicles are transformed into follicular cells, and under the influence of luteinizing hormone, these stromal follicular cells secrete progesterone. Number 3, luteinizing hormone surge induces ovulation. Now, menstrual cycle. Hormones estrogen and progesterone secreted from ovaries reach the endometrium through blood circulation and produce cyclic changes in endometrium. These cyclic changes are called menstrual cycle or simply period. The average duration of menstrual cycle is 28 days. And the first day of menstrual cycle is the day on which menses or menstrual blood flow begins. Endometrium is mirror of ovarian cycle. First let me make diagram. This is menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle. This is first day of menstrual cycle, and this is mid cycle, means 14th day, and this is last day or 28th day. From first day up to 5th day, this is menstrual phase. Menstrual phase. Menstrual cycle consists of 3 phases: menstrual phase, proliferative or follicular phase, and luteal phase or secretory phase or progestational phase. Menstrual phase lasts for 3 to 5 days. Let's see, this is endometrial tissue. This is endometrial gland. This is endometrial gland. This is connective tissue. These are spiral arteries. During menstruation phase, endometrial tissue is shaded, means endometrial tissue is lost. At 5th day, menstruation phase is ended and proliferative phase starts. During proliferative phase, endometrial tissue starts to develop. This is endometrial tissue in this way. At 14th day, proliferative phase is ended. Proliferative or follicular phase. These are spiral arteries, and This is connective tissue. And these are endometrial glands. After proliferative phase, luteal phase or secretory phase begins. In a cycle of 28 days, proliferative phase lasts for 9 days, means from 6th day to 14th day. 1st to 5th day, last menstrual phase, and 6th to 14th day, last proliferative or follicular phase, means 9 days. And 15th to 28th day, last secretory phase. Variations in the duration of menstrual cycle are due to variations in duration of proliferative phase. Duration of menstrual and secretory phase is fixed. During this secretory phase, endometrium is developing more. This is luteal or secretory or progestational. Progestational phase. I told you that endometrium is mirror of ovarian cycle, so I should explain in such a way. So let me make ovarian cycle simultaneously. This is menstrual cycle, and here I draw ovarian cycle. Ovarian cycle. During menstruation phase in ovaries, ovarian follicles are growing, means primary follicles starts to grow. They develop into growing follicles. Primary follicles grow, and during proliferative phase, growing follicles become mature. Mature vesicular follicle. Mature vesicular follicle or Graafian follicle. And at the end of proliferative phase, ovulation occur. Means during menstrual cycle is cyclic changes in uterus, and ovarian cycle is cyclic changes in ovaries. During menstrual cycle or ovarian cycle, from 1st day to 5th day, in ovaries, primary follicles are growing. Primary follicles are growing from 1st to 5th day. At the same time, in uterus, endometrium is shedding. Menstruation is going on. From 5th to 14th day, during proliferative or follicular phase, in ovaries, growing follicles develop into Graafian follicle or mature vesicular follicles. And in uterus, endometrium starts to develop. These follicles secrete estrogen. Granulosa cells of follicles secrete estrogen, and this estrogen acts on the endometrium, and under the influence of estrogen, endometrial tissue develop. This in height is the thickness of endometrial tissue. Endometrial thickness of endometrial tissue is decreased in menstruation phase because of shedding of the endometrial tissue, and after menstruation phase, during proliferative phase or follicular phase, endometrial tissue thickness of endometrial tissue is increased. This is thickness at this time, and at this time this is thickness, means thickness is increased during proliferative phase under the influence of estrogen, which is secreted from ovarian follicles. Growing follicles are mature vesicular follicles. Granulosa cells are follicular cells of these ovarian follicles secrete estrogen, and this estrogen act on endometrial tissue, and endometrial tissue is developing. Thickness of endometrial tissue is increased gradually, and after 14th day, luteal or secretory or progestational phase starts. At this time, in ovaries, corpus luteum is formed. Corpus luteum is formed, and in ovaries, corpus luteum is present, which secrete progesterone and estrogen, and this progesterone and estrogen act on endometrial tissue. Progesterone act on endometrial glands. Endometrial glands are enlarged. They become more wide and tortuous. See here, endometrial glands are small and they are less wide. Here endometrial glands are more wide. They are become more tortuous under the influence of progesterone, and there is, these are spiral arteries which are also, and this is connective tissue. This is connective tissue. Luteal phase is also called secretory phase because during this phase, endometrial glands secrete glycogen rich substance. So this phase is also called secretory phase, and this phase is also called progestational phase because if fertilization occur, then after this phase implantation and gestation occurs. So this phase is also called progestational phase. During this luteal or secretory or progestational phase, spiral arteries become more coiled, and arteriovenous fistula also occur. Fistula is connection between two epithelial surfaces, and connection between arteries and veins is arteriovenous fistula. During this luteal phase, spiral arteries become more coiled and arteriovenous fistula also occur. Recall this figure, second figure. Spiral arteries, these are the veins, dilated veins. Lacuna, these are also formed during luteal phase, and connections between arteries and veins, arteriovenous fistula occur during this phase. During menstrual and proliferative phase, the major hormone secreted which act on endometrial tissue is estrogen, and the major hormone which is secreted and act on endometrial tissue during luteal or secretory phase is progesterone. During proliferative phase, when mature vesicular follicle is formed, then after due to luteinizing hormone surge, mature vesicular follicle rupture and oocyte is released. Means ovulation occur at the end of proliferative phase, and then the empty graphene follicle is forms corpus luteum. The corpus luteum secrete progesterone and estrogen, which act in this phase act on endometrial tissue. Now, level of different hormones in blood during menstrual and ovarian cycle. Progesterone. Progesterone. Progesterone is normally secreted in low amount, in low quantity, low concentration. It is more secreted when corpus luteum is formed. After ovulation, when corpus luteum is formed, then corpus luteum secrete high concentration of progesterone. So, what will be the concentration of progesterone during different phases of menstrual and ovarian cycle? This is normally secreted in low level. After ovulation, when corpus luteum starts to produce, then its concentration is increased. Okay, and then estrogen. Estrogen. Suppose this is baseline for estrogen. Estrogen is secreted from granular cells or follicular cells of ovarian follicles, and it is also secreted by corpus luteum. So normally estrogen is secreted in low concentration during the mid of proliferative phase. When mature vesicular follicle is formed in ovary, it secrete high concentration of estrogen. So during the mid proliferative phase, concentration of estrogen is increased, and then when corpus luteum is formed, corpus luteum also secrete some amount of estrogen. So graph of estrogen is like this, and then follicle stimulating hormone. Follicle stimulating hormone. This is baseline for follicle stimulating hormone, and this is baseline for luteinizing hormone. Follicle stimulating hormone is secreted from anterior pituitary gland during menstrual and proliferative phase, because FSH is required for maturation of ovarian follicles. So its graph should be like this. During menstrual phase and proliferative phase, ovarian follicles are growing and maturing. So during this time, high concentration of follicle stimulating hormone is required. So like this, when mature vesicular follicle are formed, then estrogen level falls, and here concentration of follicle stimulating hormone is increased, and then concentration remain low. And for luteinizing hormone is normally secreted in low quantity at the time of just before ovulation. Luteinizing hormone surge occur. At this time ovulation occur, so the graph of luteinizing hormone is just before ovulation. Concentration of luteinizing hormone is increased very much, and then like this. So this is the graph of luteinizing hormone. Just before ovulation, luteinizing hormone is secreted in very high concentration. This is called luteinizing hormone surge. This is luteinizing hormone surge. And at the time of luteinizing hormone surge, anterior pituitary gland also secretes some high concentration of FSH, which make the basis for this elevation in FSH graph. The concentration of progesterone drops at this time if corpus luteum degenerates, and corpus luteum degenerates if fertilization does not occur. Means if fertilization does not occur, then corpus luteum degenerates, and also endometrium start to shed and menstruation phase begins. So if fertilization does not occur and corpus luteum is degenerated, further high concentration of progesterone is not secreted, and this type of graph is produced. But if fertilization occur and corpus luteum is not degenerated, then this type of graph does not occur. Then the concentration of progesterone remain elevated, but persistently the concentration of progesterone will be increasing. Cyclic activity of ovary is linked with endometrial changes. When primordial follicles start to grow, endometrium is shedding. At this phase, when in ovary primordial follicles start to grow, they are growing. At the same time, in endometrium, in uterus, in endometrium, endometrial tissue is shedding. Menstrual phase is going on. When growing follicles become mature, at that time endometrium is passing through proliferative or follicular phase. And in ovary, when ovulation has occurred and corpus luteum is formed, the endometrium is passing through secretory phase. Means endometrium reflects the activity of ovaries. Mirror is an object which reflects light. Here activity of ovary is reflected by endometrium. So endometrium is known as mirror of ovarian cycle. At 28th day or last day of menstrual cycle, there are two possibilities. One possibility is that luteal phase is ended and menstrual phase begins. This happens when fertilization does not occur. Other possibility is that luteal phase continues and menstruation does not occur. In this way, this luteal phase continues after 28th day and menstruation does not occur. The first possibility was that luteal phase is ended and menstrual phase begins. Means in this way, endometrial tissue is shedding and thickness of endometrium is decreasing. This happens when fertilization does not occur, and when fertilization occurs, then luteal phase continues in this way. Endometrium continue to develop. Thickness of endometrium is increasing. Why menstruation occur when fertilization does not occur? If fertilization does not occur, then corpus luteum starts to degenerate after 9 days. After 9 days, corpus luteum starts to degenerate if fertilization does not occur. And when corpus luteum degenerates, then progesterone and estrogen is not secreted. Normally, due to degeneration of corpus luteum, concentration of progesterone and estrogen falls. Normally, progesterone keeps the endometrium highly vascular. These spiral arteries, highly coiled spiral arteries due to progesterone. Progesterone keep the endometrial tissue highly vascular and stimulates the growth and function of endometrial glands. When progesterone concentration is decreased due to degeneration of corpus luteum, spiral arteries are constricted and blood flow to the functional layer of endometrium is reduced and endometrium become pale and ischemic. Pale and ischemic due to no blood flow to the functional layer because of constriction of spiral arteries, and also due to low concentration of progesterone, the secretory function of gland is also lost. Due to no secretion of fluid by the gland into the endometrial tissue shrinks. Due to ischemia, endometrial tissue undergo necrosis. Necrosis is a type of cell death. Endometrial tissue undergo necrosis and small pieces of endometrial tissue detach and come into the uterine cavity. When necrotized endometrial tissue breaks in pieces and is detached, blood vessels in functional layer of endometrium are also damaged and they are ruptured, and blood seeps from ruptured and damaged blood vessels. This blood and endometrial tissue is lost through vagina. During 3 to 5 days of menstrual phase, whole functional layer is lost, and during proliferative and luteal phase, compact layer and spongy layer are regenerated from basal layer during proliferative phase and luteal phase, and during menstrual phase, compact layer and spongy layer, these two layers which make functional layer, they are lost and they are regenerated from basal layer during proliferative phase and luteal phase. Normal amount of menstrual blood is 20 to 80 milliliter. Because blood seeps from ruptured arteries, 75% of menstrual blood is arterial and 25% is venous. If fertilization occurs and zygote is formed, then corpus luteum does not degenerate and continues to secrete progesterone and estrogen. Under the influence of progesterone and estrogen, endometrium continues to develop and is preparing for implantation. Zygote is converted into morula and then blastocyst, and blastocyst is implanted in endometrium. When fertilization and pregnancy occurs, endometrium enters in pregnancy phase here, and further menstrual cycles not occur.